Today we're going to be looking at a 7-round mock draft from ESPN. We're going to be looking at the landing spots, seeing the fits, trying to look at the market sentiment, talk our way through it. Let me know what you think about the picks. Before we dig in though, click that subscribe button right now. You need to know what these rookies are doing. You need to know their player values. We're doing mock drafts every day. We're helping you with your fantasy football teams, your dynasty leagues, and everything else. Click that button. Stop missing out. But we got to dig in quick. This is a long draft. 7 rounds. We're going pick by pick, but we're going to try and get through this quick with you guys so you don't have to sit here and listen and talk through all these picks. But first pick off the board, Cam Ward to the Titans. I feel like that was pretty evident during the pro day. I feel like that was pretty evident. He's going number 1 overall. They're not selecting Abdul Carter. They're not going Travis Hunter. They're getting their quarterback. He will be an upgrade over what they got over Will Levis. Free agency zapped up. They can't pivot to anywhere. Cam Ward's going to be their quarterback. They are drafting Cam Ward. I feel like that's locked in. Whether or not you like it or not, it doesn't matter. That's just what they're going to do. That is what they're going to do unless some Godfather offer comes to them, which is not happening in this year's draft. This is not the Andrew Luck type of quarterback class or whatever you want to call it. Abdul Carter to the Browns. I understand this. Because a lot of big-time media are a little bit lower on Shedeur Sanders. A little bit lower on him. And then I look at media from the Browns, and they talk about how the Browns like him. This is going to be a fascinating spot. The Browns hold the keys here. I love Abdul Carter. He's my top player in the draft. He's my number 1. I like this pick. I think for the Browns, they just need to sit tight and have conviction with what they want to make here. This is a very pivotal spot here. But going Abdul Carter is not a bad look either. I think they'd have a nasty front with him. With him and Myles Garrett, that would be nasty. And we just bridge on, and we get a quarterback later, years down on the road. And maybe we figure something out. Maybe something happens. Going on down here. New York Giants get Shedeur Sanders. So now we have 3 quarterbacks there on the roster. Jameis Winston. We now have Russell Wilson. We have Shedeur Sanders. So Shedeur Sanders, you're not seeing him until the back half of his rookie season, maybe this second year. That's going to give him time to develop. And maybe that's what he needs right now. Maybe this is a good spot for him. Also, this team can build around him. You're not throwing him out there as a rookie, but you also have Malik Neighbors, and you can add more pieces around him. This is a deep running back class. You have Malik Neighbors. That's what I like about that. Shedeur Sanders has a pretty deep ball. He's accurate downfield. And with what they have at quarterback right now and him just waiting in the wings, developing, that might be a good spot for him. That might be the spot for him. That or the Raiders with what they got built there as well with Brock Bowers. Just having a young, top-tier pass catcher, a weapon to go along with him, allowing him to mature and develop. I don't hate this spot. I like this a lot better than the Browns, and I like this as a fit. Travis Hunter to the Patriots. He can't fall too far down the board. I definitely could see them going offensive line here because of just rebuilding that, getting more talent there. But Travis Hunter, a two-way player, just a player you're not going to see every day. A good wide receiver. They want to add talent there, and now you're getting talent at defensive back. And that's going to be a game changer there. He can't fall too far down the board. He just can't. He can't go 5, 6, 7. It's just not going to happen. Travis Hunter going to the Patriots. I think that's a move, whether you need him or not, that you're just going to have to make. That's a player that you're not going to see every day. Jaguars go Mason Graham. I like him at defensive tackle. I think this is a good meat and potatoes pick on the defensive side of the ball. I think this is a great fit for them. Raiders go T-Mac. They are in desperate need at wide receiver, especially at youth for upside and talent. I think this is going to be a good fit for them. Also, they got Brock Bowers. That's going to help T-Mac too as he's developing. Good wide receiver, deep threat, big wide receiver, like a Mike Evans type wide receiver where he's going to get a lot of contested plays downfield, but he's got the ball skills to overmatch that. 7, Armin from Missouri going to the Jets. Talented offensive lineman. I'm surprised he doesn't go to the Patriots here. That could potentially happen. Him, Will Campbell, or somebody else. But again, the top of the tackle class here is something you want to invest in if it's there, even if you need it or not. Jalen Walker, linebacker edge to the Panthers. Just a good talent. Good talent coming off the board. Just stacking up defensive side of the ball. Now we're looking at the Saints. Jahdae Barron, he's been climbing. He's been climbing all off season long. And one of the top cornerbacks in this class. I like him. Maybe there's other routes we could go here. There's other routes we can go here on the defensive side of the ball too. Like, I like James Pierce a lot. I don't see him falling, but I believe he has him falling a good bit from what I saw on social media. Coming down, next pick, Bears, Ashton Jeanty. I think they're primed to do it. They primed up that offensive line. We got a rookie quarterback. We got a veteran wide receiver and a top-tier second-year wide receiver. I almost called him a rookie. It feels like a rookie still, but these months go too quick. I think we're primed to do it. I think they're going to get their hammer, and maybe DeAndre Swift gets traded on day 3 or something, and they get another young running back with him to get their effect of 2 running backs like they had with the Detroit Lions. Maybe they do that, considering Swift has an out on his contract after the season. That would be smart to do to move the money around a little bit. I don't know that much about contracts, but I see that coming up. This is going to make things interesting with the Bears. They're going to make a big turnaround here, especially if Ashton Jeanty hits. I'm going to have his pro day highlights up soon, maybe even before this video. But Will Johnson, cornerback Michigan, going to the Niners. Many have mocked offensive line here. Josh Simmons would have been a great fit here. Will Campbell, any top-tier offensive tackle. But this is a top-tier cornerback. I believe 11's actually too low. But considering how you see the top shaking out, somebody who deserves to be higher is going to go in this range. And you're just going to have to forget about your team needs and just select that player. You just have to. And if that happens, don't get mad that your team needs doesn't get met. Tyler Warren to the Cowboys. I could see this as a possibility for the Dallas Cowboys. I think I mentioned this in a video a while back. I can't peg out which one because I do so many videos. But Tyler Warren is a good tight end prospect. I would not put him in the realm of Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers is a tight end prospect that you tell your grandkids about. It's just one of those that just come every so often. Tyler Warren is a very good first-round tight end that could help your team. The thing about the Dallas Cowboys and what I've seen from them historically, they like the money ball, the tight end position. They just spent a second-round pick on it, and they might feel that they can use a mid-round pick and get by. They do love to target the tight end. They do need to get weapons on this team. And with Ashton Jeanty off the board, they also like to go not sexy too and take value. I would not be surprised they go with one of the edge rushers that are on the board here. I would not be surprised they go a different route. I don't see this likely to happen, but I also see it happening as well, considering they want to add to this team. They need to add receiving threats. This is another way to do so. Will Campbell coming off the board. Like, I don't see Will Campbell going this far. I don't really see him going really past Dallas. So you can really use him on the offensive line. You could use him to help out that offensive line massively. Will Campbell going to the Dolphins, helping out Tua. This would be a great landing spot. This would be a tremendous landing spot for him. Tremendous. I think he'll go a little bit higher than this. If he falls to the Dolphins, that's a gift. And it'll be a gift to the Cowboys even. I don't see him going past the Niners. But again, when you look at Will Johnson, like I'm saying, that top, someone's going to fall a little bit. There's going to be a trade up around this area. There definitely is. Colts, Colston Loveland, rising. He's not too far off from Tyler Warren. If not, some people got him better than Tyler Warren. He's a good receiving option. And him with the Colts, it's just going to help the quarterback position there. I'm going to say that for the long term because I do not know what's going to happen there. 2 years from now, who's going to be their quarterback? Colston Loveland, though, good receiving threat, good option. And this team, offensively at wide receiver, pass catcher-wise, adding him to that mix, honestly, is a very underrated set of pass catchers. And Tyler Warren's been mocked to death to the Colts. And Colston Loveland going this part of the draft, I think that's fine. I think he's deserving. I mean, if you're going to put Tyler Warren up there, I think Colston Loveland shouldn't be too far behind, especially if you have tight end needy teams. John Campbell going to the Falcons. He's been mocked there a lot from everybody. I've done it a few times. I think this is a good fit. I think he'd help out the Falcons. You're getting a top-tier interior linebacker that can help you out a lot. Getting a lot of upside there. I think that's going to be a good to go. Mike Green, edge, Marshall. So, did not run super fast at the combine. That was not predicted. But he's a monster. Like, I could see Dallas picking him. I could see one of those teams above them picking him. But I can also see, as you see things jumbling up at the top here, that things could get creative and a player like him falls. And I think that's going to be a huge gift to somebody in the teens of this draft. A huge gift, a top 10 player. Nick Emawari, South Carolina, butchered the name, but talented player, rising stock. That's what that's saying. Rising stock. Malachi Starks, where's he at? Where's he at? He's not first safety off the board here. South Carolina going to the Bengals. Bengals fans, let me know what you think about this pick. Let me know what you think about this pick. You got a lot of money wrapped up in your pass-catching unit, your wide receivers, your quarterback. You got to throw something on the defensive side of the ball in your meat and potato positions. Matthew Golden to the Seattle Seahawks. So you're getting your Tyler Lockett back, kind of. You're getting your speedy wide receiver that can get downfield, that can push it. A good, nuanced route runner that can create separation. I think this, over time, could be a good fit. But remember, we're transitioning now to a new quarterback era with Darnold there. That being said, Matthew Golden here has some upside in this offense. We got to see how that looks over time. He could develop here. He's not looked to be the number one off the rip. JSN is. That being said, that could be a good tandem. He'll fit well with JSN. His speed, his nuance, JSN's nuance, but taking over the short to intermediate. I think that could be a good tandem over the long term. Malachi Starks to the Bucs. That's a great fit. That's just the perfect fit. Like, I've been mocking DBs to them. I don't like having Starks falling this far, but the weirdness at the top here is going to cause that in the first round. Being in the teens is a money spot. You're going to get a good talent there. Starks is a good talent. Going to the Bucs, that's a great fit too. Luther Burden to the Denver Broncos. I think that's a fit-wise, scheme-wise for him, an ultimate fit. A great fit. Bo Nix is a very, very nuanced quarterback when it comes to playing for the next down. He'll play it short. Luther Burden had a shorter ADOT in college, but he also has the speed to get it deep. I think those two can marinate with each other. I think when you're looking at what you got right now, with Cortland Sutton, he can stretch it deep. He can throw in Burden, short to intermediate. I think he could rack up catches. I think he can be your mini Deebo Samuel. Deebo Samuel's a little bit bigger because he was getting carries out of the backfield at Missouri. I think you got something here that matches well in the fit-wise with Bo Nix. Coming down 21, we're going Thomas, Florida State, to the Steelers. I think he might fall a little bit. I think at the Senior Bowl, he got lit up a little bit on some of those routes. Especially Tez Johnson broke some off on him. When I think about this, I feel like he might be a second rounder. This is a Steelers selection, though. Just going off a good, sound player. He's still a good player. There's still some other players on the board that I just feel like that would fit well with the Steelers. We're going to come across them. Imagine the next couple picks. Here we go. Marion Hampton to the Chargers. This makes sense. Najee Harris is there, but it's not like you're expecting him to be there for like 5 years. And Marion Hampton's a player that you really can't pass up on, but this year's draft's so deep that you probably can. So I would not be surprised if they go another route. But Marion Hampton, it's hard seeing him falling out of the first round. But the economics of this class, with there being so many assets that could happen, it's a good fit. It's a good fit. They're looking for more at the running back position. They need something for the long term. This is the perfect draft class to do so. He did well at the combine. He's got the size. He can do a little bit of everything. Kelvin Banks going to the Packers. Tremendous talent at tackle here. I see him going up a few slots. I think the premium of the offensive tackle spot's being understated in a lot of mock drafts. I think teams will be willing to pay that up, even if they're kind of good at tackle. Just at the talent, you're just going to take it, and you're just going to roll with it. I think a lot of people look at mocks and look at team needs too hard, and then understanding like there's just money positions. Tackle's one of those. Kelvin Banks, a solid prospect here. I would not be surprised if we get a tackle run. Maxwell Hairston's been climbing. He's been climbing for me. PFF has him a little bit lower, but that's why I wanted to look at this. Maxwell Hairston to the Vikings. I think that's a solid get. There's other players on the board because I know guys are slipping here. Josh Simmons to the Texans. It's a good fit. He looked good at the pro day. He's not falling this far. That's the thing about this. And why am I saying this? I feel like up around the Niners range, somewhere in the teens. He's just too talented. He was looking good at Ohio State. I get the knee. But I'm not scared of the knee. They're not scared of the knee. I just saw him just kill the bench press yesterday. I know that's not running or anything, but still, this is a tremendous prospect here, and you're getting like a top 10 talent at 25. I just don't see that happening. Like I said, I expect a tackle run somewhere. I expect that to happen. Jackson Dart going to the Rams. There must be some talk. He must have heard some rumors. Jackson Dart has been like this in the process, and honestly, I've been just waiting for it to feel out. I think now that we're seeing big media starting to make some aggressive moves here for the long term, this is not like a draft pick for the Rams. This is a draft pick saying, hey, Jackson Dart's a riser, and I got to let you know that he is. That's what that says to me. So if you're a Rams fan, you don't like it, guess what? It's a mock draft. They're not telling you that. They're telling you what I just said. Derek Harmon, defensive tackle to the Ravens. He's been a riser throughout the process with the media. Good interior defensive lineman. And the Ravens are just going to get a good defensive player falling to them. Maybe an offensive tackle, but I expect a run. But that being said, they're going to get a good player on the defensive side of the ball falling to them because of the craziness in the top 10 to 12 picks. Detroit Lions, Gray's Abel, center guard, North Dakota State. Had a good Senior Bowl, been rising. Shamar Stewart going to the Commanders, a good edge going their way. Getting down here, this is where I'm getting interested. I've always been interested in the back end of the draft. Trey Amos, he's one of my guys. Trey Amos is one of my guys from Ole Miss. And I've been saying this the whole time throughout the process. Trey Amos is one of my guys. Going to the Bills, and this is saying, hey, teams like him, he likes him, I like him. I would not be upset. There's other, like, we're going to get to the second round, and we're going to have some first-round dudes that I like that maybe you'd like better for the Bills. Michael Williams to the Chiefs, Georgia. Just another gift wrap going to the Chiefs. And we're going to see this going to the Chiefs and Eagles. They're going to get some good players. That craziness up the top there is going to allow some good prospects going to them. Defensive side of the ball, you're like, I don't know. Their defense is good. Eagles defense, that's how drafting works. If a talent falls to you, you got to take it. Their defense was nasty last year. And you know what? Sometimes to get nasty, you got to keep going with the talent that falls with you instead of chasing team need, because that's what's going to mess you up. Donnie E. Donnie E's been a riser. He's a player that I've mocked to the Eagles before it was cool. I've done that, but I also mocked him higher than this. I would not be surprised if Donnie E, I like calling him Donnie E, no one else does. I'm a trend center, but I would not be surprised if he goes a little bit higher. Like when I was saying, there's defensive players that you may like better. Later, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I was thinking about. I don't have a sheet of players in my head, but my Rolodex is spinning when I see some of these picks. Second round. Quarterback Browns. No. I don't see it happening. I don't see it. Media's trying to make that out. I just don't see it happening. I don't see this happening. Like, if you're willing to skip out on Shedeur Sanders, I think you're going to just build up the rest of your position groups. If you're going to do that. I just don't see that happening. I see him actually being a mid-round guy. I just see that happening. I think there's just too much talk. I think it's fluff. I think they're trying to get other teams to pivot. Mika Igbukah to the Giants is a good fit. Fits well with Malik Neighbors. Fits well there. If Shedeur Sanders does go there, I mean, you're getting him weapons. That's what they should do. Tyler Booker, would not be surprised if he goes in the first round. This is a weak interior offensive line class. It's not as strong as other years. And Booker is a premium player. That being said, you might see a team, maybe in the back end of the first round, catch some FOMO and push him up in the first round. He might be a first round guy. So this is probably the right position to really take at him due to his position, because you can kind of money ball the guard spot, the interior offensive line spot. However, due to the talent and him being a lot higher, a different level than the other guards, I see him going higher. That would be my argument. It's a good fit, but I see him going higher. Mason Taylor, tight end, LSU to the Jaguars. He's been a riser. Looks like he'd be a good fit there. There's other tight ends I like. And there's other players on the board. TreVeyon Henderson to the Raiders. You're getting that speed. You're getting a guy that can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's very explosive. He's going to be behind a good offensive line. You got Brock Bowers there, take the heat off. And we're going to be evolving. You got Pete Carroll there. And they've made offers or talked about, or it's just a rumor didn't happen, trying to get Walker from Seattle. There's interest in the running back position there. They had a lot of jabronis last year. They're probably going to double tap the position this year. Josh Connerly, offensive tackle to the Patriots. Not too keen on him. Saw him at the Senior Bowl. He got lit up a little bit, but still a good talent. I think that's good value here in the second round for any team looking to bolster the offensive line. Kenneth Grant, defensive tackle to Michigan. He fell in this draft. I think he's going to push more to the first round. I think he's more talented than the 39 overall draft slot. Bears are going to have a good draft. Bears are going to kill this draft. They're in line to kill this draft. That's the thing about this. They can make a luxury pick with Ashton Jeanty because they built for it and still build up other positions. You'll see. And it's not just the player or this draft. I haven't really covered it or looked at this draft. This is a live reaction. I just know with how it is. Quinn Ewers going to the Saints. I think we're overvaluing these quarterbacks. I think they're going to fall a little bit more than expected. Quinn Ewers, though, as a prospect, has a lot of experience, 5-star prospect, very good quarterback. People usually hate him a lot or love him a lot. If you're from the Ohio area, since he transferred out, people in that area kind of don't like him. There have been moments where he didn't hit. There have been moments where he looked good, too. So you got to look at it both ways. You can't be just a hater. But going to the Saints, you do need a contingency plan at quarterback. This is a cheap way to do it. Spencer Rattler versus Quinn Ewers in training camp is going to be fun to watch. That'll be a fun one to watch as they battle it out. We saw Rattler last year. It did not look good. Quinn Ewers coming in. Could be a fun developmental prospect. Xavier Watts to the Bears. Like I said, just sniping talent. Sniping talent as they build this team. Sniping talent. They're in a good spot in this year's draft. Tyleik Williams, he fell during the 40. I need to find out more information on him yesterday. It didn't look good, but it could be all right. But tremendous talent. He's a first-round caliber player. He's going to second round, a lot of mocks. That fall, and if anything was serious with that, that'd cause him to fall a bit. But talent-wise, he's a first-round caliber player. Jets got a good one here. Niners, Walter Nolan. Riser in the process. Do not be surprised if he goes in the first round. Like I said, in the back half of the first round, middle of the first round, there's defensive players here that are not getting selected that might go in the first round. This is one of them. He's been a riser. Caleb Johnson to the Cowboys. This makes sense for them. They're going to get a good back here that can take on a full workload. The moves they made this free agency just entertains that they're going to moneyball the position in this draft. Maybe go day 3, something like that. Or they're setting themselves up to where they can be fluid. The thing about how this mock draft has been crafted, it feels like the Cowboys realistically would probably go somewhere on the defensive side of the ball and just wait a little bit more at running back, because I feel like that's what they built themselves to do, because they got a lot of positions of need. This is a great sexy pick for them, and I'd love it if this happened. This would work. This would be fine. This would be great, actually. He would be their running back for years and years and years to come. Big, physical running back that can pound it up the gut, that can take on the workload, catch the ball a little bit out of the backfield. Not a lot of receptions at Iowa, but at Iowa, the top target earner only had 47 targets on the season last year. You got to look at it in that perspective. Going down here, Colts, Donovan Jackson, guard of Ohio State. This is where you're going to see other interior offensive linemen come off the board. Alfred Collins, defensive tackle. Jalen Noel, going to the Cardinals. This would be a great fit alongside Marvin Harrison Jr. I like him a lot. I think this is going to be a wide receiver that's going to grow in this offense. They need to add talent there. They need to get more upside there. Carson Swizinger, linebacker to the Dolphins. James Pierce, edge, Tennessee. This is a first-round caliber prospect. Did well at the Combine. Bengals smashed this pick. He's going higher than this. He ain't falling this far. He's not falling this far. It's just not happening. I just don't see it happening. Like I said earlier, there are defensive players there that you may like better that we're going to talk about in the second round. That's how this mock was crafted. There might be some market sentiment between scouts and coaches that has been said about him that are a little bit lower, I don't see him falling this spot of the draft. Ratledge, guard, going to Seattle. Good pick. Good pick. I like him lots. Quinshon Judkins going to the Broncos. This is a fit pick. I don't see him falling this far. I don't see him falling much farther than Hampton. I see him going early second round, maybe even fit in the first round. This is a first round talent here at running back. Before Ashton Jeanty, it was Quinshon Judkins as top running back in this class. This is a great pick for the Broncos. This is a money pick for the Broncos. He would be their running back forever. He would be their running back forever. Audric Estime would be a good tandem with him, but Quinshon Judkins would be the guy. Great pick. I just think it's too great, and I think he's going to be selected higher. Jared Wilson, center, Georgia. Solid selection there. Just getting that interior offensive line worked up. Benjamin Morrison. I've been mocking him to the Bucs earlier in the process in the first round. I think this is a good pick. I like Benjamin Morrison. He's one of my guys. I don't like that he's falling in the process. I think he's a first-round caliber player. I think he's going to give you some upside. I think this draft is nasty for the Bucs. Ravel going to the Packers. Another cornerback that I've liked throughout the process going to them. Trey Harris, you're getting that wide receiver. A little older prospect, was productive with 2 different collegiate programs. I think mixed with what they got there, Ladd McConkey's still going to be the dude. Trey Harris is not going to eat into his workload. But we're adding to that offense. Harbaugh's molding it. I think when you look at him for fantasy football, you're looking at him versus Johnston. See how that's going to last long term. Ultimately, that's going to be an interesting scenario. They can get vertical while also trying to pound it out in the run game. They're going to run it a lot. They're going to run it a lot and be slower. They spent a first-round pick on a running back. They got a run-first quarterback that we saw at Michigan. Look at J.J. McCarthy's pass attempts. They're going to want to run it a lot. So I don't expect them to fuel multiple pass catchers as top-end assets in fantasy. Ladd McConkey's going to be your dude. Andrew Makuba, safety from Texas, going to the Bills. Just a good talent landing their way. Just taking the value that comes to them. Ty Robinson, defensive tackle, Nebraska going to the Panthers. Guard going to the Texans, filling out that interior. Darren Porter is one of my guys. I like him a lot. And the Ravens are just probably going to draft guys I like. And they're probably going to take those meat and potatoes positions and just really stack up talent here and build. Detroit Lions, Nick Scorton here, coming off the edge. I've mocked them to the Lions before, in the first round even. And I think this is a good fit. A lot of Lions fans are like, where's the edge? Where's the edge? They wait on that a little bit. They probably could have done it in the first round. I forget what they did in the first round. But again, it's a good player, a good value in the second round. Kevin Winston, safety from Penn State. One of the players I like in this draft, going to the Commanders. I think that's a good look. You're just getting the talent in the second round. Jade Higgins is a wide receiver that could be a game changer for the Bills or any team. He's a guy that can really change things around. I expect him to go a little higher than this even. I think he's a wide receiver that's sneaky in this draft. Right situation, he'd be a great fit. Charles Grant, offensive tackle to the Chiefs, building that up. Elijah Arroyo going to the Eagles. We had injuries at tight end last year. This is a talented tight end class. Elijah Arroyo's got good athleticism. This is a guy that killed it at the Senior Bowl. And I've mocked tight end to the Eagles before, and I talked that through as they're going to make a luxury pick. They're going to make a couple splash picks, and it's probably going to be a little higher than expected. And they're just in the range where they can do that, and they're at the point of building their team where they can do that here and there. This is one of them. They can moneyball it. They got some good talent there at tight end, but tight end's a good position to build at, especially for the long term. Don't expect them to be like a day one starter. Give them time to develop because that's what tight ends need. Third round time, going a little faster. Darius Alexander, defense tackle, Toledo to the Giants. Next, Joshua Farmer to the Chiefs. Dylan Sampson to the Browns. So, tremendous pickup here. They need something at the running back position. Money balling the position here. Going a little bit cheaper. They could have paid up for Judkins in the second round. That's probably what I would have did in their spot if they're looking at the running back versus what they did at quarterback there. But I like Sampson. He was the heartbeat of Tennessee. That Ohio State game might have been different if he wasn't hurt. That's something to look at. Moving on down, Landon Jackson, edge, Arkansas to the Raiders. A.O. Manor to the Patriots. I think that's great for Drake May. Good route running. Ate up Travis Hunter. Has speed to go with that. I think that's a wide receiver that will probably go in the second round. I don't think he's going in the third round. Savion Williams, third round, but might drop a little bit farther than what you think. Going to the Jaguars. I think he's going to be a role player there. Jalen Royals going to the Saints. Underrated wide receiver. Twitched up. Good ball skills. I like him in this range. Jacob Parrish, cornerback, Kansas State. Bears is in a position to smash this draft. Like I said, they're smashing all these picks. It's easy to get them smash picks. Jaden Reed, safety, Penn State. Like that for the Jets. Isaiah Bond going to the Panthers. This is a prospect with a lot of upside. Crushed it with Alabama. Had some injuries last year. Has good speed. Even though he didn't run the 4.2s, he still ran in the 4.3s. Going to the Panthers where they're just trying to get a fire in that offense. They got some talent at wide receiver. They do need more, especially to develop for the long term. Third round pick. So role player starting out, but it could develop into a huge asset or nothing. But this is where you want to take that gamble at in the third round to get that offensive tackle. Minnesota going to the 49ers. Jack Betch going to the Cowboys. They're saying, hey, they need a wide receiver. We're going to put some fits with them. I look for them to be not so sexy in the draft, though. That's the Cowboys way. Princely going to the Patriots. He's actually one of my guys. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes in the second round. Due to him being an edge, due to the talent, might be underrated here. Emory Jones, guard, going to the Cardinals. I mean, a smart meat and potatoes pick here. Terrence Ferguson going to the Texans. You got Kate Stover that you're developing, a fourth rounder. Terrence Ferguson, though, is a talent, though, that's definitely better. It's probably better than whatever you got on the depth chart once he's developed. And this is a tight end that could really bail out C.J. Stroud. Very productive at Oregon. 9 yards per route ran last year. And we're looking at edge going to the Colts, which is something they need to look at. Quincy Riley, cornerback to the Bengals. Josiah Stewart, edge from Michigan. When in doubt, just get some of those Michigan interior players. When in doubt. Jalen Milroe to the Steelers. This is a developmental option for the long term. We saw him at the Pro Day. He lit up the 40. We were expecting that. One thing is, Alabama fans are happy he's gone. He was not very accurate. We covered him at the Senior Bowl. We went over those highlights. Even just tossing the ball warming up, he was off on his throws. He's a guy that needs to do immense developing for him to hit at the NFL level. Would be a great backup, though. Jack Sawyer, falling among consensus. However, you're going to get a stout edge here at a cheap price. And the Bucs are killing this draft. Bucs and Bears. Shamar Turner, defensive tackle, Texas A&M, going to the Broncos. I think that's a great value for them. I think that's a great play. Miles Frazier, guard, LSU, going to the Chargers. Torrey Horton, wide receiver, Colorado State, Packers. Craig Woodson to the Jags. TJ Sanders, defensive tackle, going to the Texans. I like him. He's one of my guys. I think he's going to be a good value for any team that gets him. Caleb Ranshaw, cornerback Tulane to the Rams. And we're going guard to the Ravens. Offensive tackle from Boston College to Seattle. Edge to the Saints. Browns get an offensive tackle. Now I'm just looking for notable players here, so we move it along. Chiefs go cornerback. Defensive tackle, Phillips, Maryland to the Eagles. Actually, I've been watching him a lot. I like him. I think he's going to be a good value. Jalen Rivers, Vikings, filling up the interior. I'm not seeing a run of running backs right now. Note that. Not a run of running backs. We got some running backs left on the board. Miami Dolphins, getting the safety from Oklahoma, Bowman. Barrett Carter, linebacker Clemson. Cameron Williams, offensive tackle Texas. That's a value at 100. That's a hell of a value. I don't see that happening. I don't see him going that far in the draft. I think there's going to be a run on that tier tackles. I think that's going to happen. Demetrius Knights fell in this draft. I don't see that happening. I think that's too tremendous of a talent. I disagree with that one. Lions go guard. There's a guard run here in the third round. Interior offensive line, late second, third round. That's something to note for your drafts when you're watching it. Fourth round, now we get to see it in bulk. Let's look at here. Jordan Burks, JJ Pegas. One thing I'm noticing here is Ransom going to the Patriots. We got Kyle Kennard. I like him a lot. I have him as a day 2 talent going to the Bills. Dorian Strong's one of my guys. I have him as a day 2 talent going to the Raiders. I like him a lot. I like Wyatt Millen early in the process. I think he fell a little bit too far. Savion Jones, edge, LSU. Mondon from Georgia, going to the Colts. Harold Fanning, very productive at Bowling Green, going to the Bengals. That could be a nice play for the Bengals down the road. That would be a sexy landing spot. Kyle Williams has been a riser. Very twitched up, can create separation. That could be the sneaky wide receiver in this year's draft. Depends if we hit well with Cam Ward, but that could be the sneaky play. Shedeur is going to the Steelers. He looks like a Steeler. He plays like a Steeler. I think that's a great fit. I think he's going to be a day 2 guy. I think he's going to go in round 3. I think that's where he's going to go. I think late round 2, somewhere around 3. I don't see him going this far. And if we're getting to the 4th round, it's not going to be this many picks and then he's going to go off the board. He's mock drafting for fits right now. Let's keep it at 100. He's mock drafting for fits right now and not for actual like true value for what could potentially happen. The fits team needs, that's going to be thrown out a window for a quarter to half of the picks. Not half, that's a little too much, but a quarter to like 35% of them, because there's the talent falls to you and you're just going to have to take it. So again, that's why I mock draft like a video game and just pick 4 teams or a conference and just roll with it. After him though, after Shedeur, Jane Blue comes off the board to the Packers. Must be getting a lot of buzz after the combine. He ran well. Big time prospect out of high school, I can say that. Really didn't fire at the college level. I think there's some talent on the board here that they're overlooking. Trevor Etienne, a good name considering his brother. He really didn't fire and live up to his recruiting status either. But between the tackles, he's very stout. Right situation, right team. This is a great landing spot for him. When you're looking at him in the middle rounds, that might be something you may want to pay attention to over time. Don't disregard him. Joshua Gray, guard, Oregon State to the Jaguars. What also we're looking at, Gillette, edge, going to the Ravens. Like I said, they're going to be taking those meat and potato positions. They're not going to fall for some of the sexy guys that fall. Devin Neal, Kansas. There's a running back that fell that I might have overlooked. Call that out, but he's one of my guys that fell. Devin Neal going to the Bills. He's going to create great competition in that backfield. Might end up being the RB1 over time if he develops. Jordan James going to the Saints. I've not heard much about Jordan James throughout the process. He's been kind of overlooked. There's some running backs I like that are falling. When I think about that, that is something to pay attention to. That he might be a riser getting some buzz. Baseball tuned to the Chiefs. They like speed at running back. They said that with Isaiah Pacheco, Elijah Mitchell throughout the process this offseason. That could be something that happens. Kyle McCord, 4th round Dolphins. Good developmental play for the long term. Has upside, very productive with Syracuse this year. Turned it around. Maybe that gusto helps. Nick Nash going to the Ravens. RJ Harvey. So RJ Harvey I don't believe is going to fall this far. He's got a better profile compared to a lot of the running backs up there. I think he's more up there with Cam Shedeur, and I would not be surprised if he goes in day 2, somewhere around 3, if not really early round 4. I just don't see that happening. There's other running backs that I like that I don't think is going to fall this far. I think he's really underestimating the running back position. I think he probably looked at the other positions and let running back play it out himself. That's probably what happened. Or he's really going for fits. Restapro going 5th round. I see that happening after the 40. Like, I get it. He had a hamstring issue. That's why he ran a 4.83 pretty set. But again, you don't say that, hey, I did this to compete. I'm going to work through. Like, you just don't run. Like, you just don't run. You just don't do that. You let them know, hey, my hamstring got tight. It is what it is. You're just going to look off the tape. You ran that. Now you got questions. I see him falling. It's not whether or not he was a good player at Miami or he can catch the football or this or that. Like, there's implications to your decisions. They're saying that here. The NFL's probably going to say that too. There's that. You got to make better decisions. Caleb Rogers, offensive tackle to the Jaguars. Let me know if there's somebody you like. Just throw that in there. Will Howard going to the Raiders. Developmental quarterback. Up and down throughout his career. We can definitely say that. Go back to that Michigan game versus the college football playoff. Up and down. Get it. Moving down here. Thornton going to the Jets. Getting a wide receiver. Malachi Moore, safety, Alabama. Falls in this draft. I like him. He's one of my guys. Elijah Badger, wide receiver, Florida. Just an ancillary wide receiver. Wide receiver has been picked through so far, so really you're just picking up your guys for the back end of the depth chart at this point in the draft. There's still some running backs left. Where's DJ Giddens? Have I passed DJ Giddens, chat? Chat, let me know. Or are we still rolling through this? Linebacker, Cody Simon. I think that's a great value for the 49ers as we pick through these later rounds. Damian Martinez to the Carolina Panthers. Them getting a tremendous talent. There's DJ Giddens to the Texans. He's not falling this far. Damian Martinez might not fall this far. Both these guys, tremendous prospects. I don't see them falling this far. DJ Giddens or Damian Martinez. I believe he drafted a slew of running backs ahead of them that are worse off than them. We will get a running back that we like that will fall. We will. Maybe one or two because it's so deep. But I don't see teams passing on those profiles. Tez Johnson to the Eagles. That was actually a very good fit for him. He does not have to really be the guy there or anything. He can work his way up the depth chart. Good route runner, though. Dylan Gabriel to Seattle. That might actually work. We're staying in the West Coast, too. That might work for the long term as long as he continues to develop. He's very accurate. He's very accurate, has a lot of experience. That could lend well. We're looking at defense. Zay Frazier going to Seattle. They're making a good draft here. They're making a good draft. Coming on down to the 6th round. We're running through this a lot quicker. Let me know what you hate and what you love. It's 6th round, so we're looking at some backups too, but there's some guys that fell. So looking at this, Jarquez Hunter could be a riser. Could get drafted higher than what you believe. Max Brosmer, quarterback, Minnesota. Underrated prospect. Would be a good backup in the league. Ollie Gordon in the 6th. It sounds like he's going to be a faller among media. I would not be surprised if he gets drafted a little bit higher. Would not be surprised if he drops a little bit more. We got the DUI. We did not really blaze the combine, but we are a bigger running back. He's a fit guy. He will fit in a lot of offenses. He's got the upside to be the guy, to be your guy for a long time. I think he should go a little higher, but this is a muddled running back class that's so stacked with talent. I think he's more talented than a lot of the running backs that got drafted ahead of him, though. I think he's a good upside play. Dante Trader, safety, Maryland to the Colts. They're having a good draft with this. Joshua Simon, tight end, Carolina to the Broncos. So adding talent there, but they already signed their dude in the offseason. Looking down here, we got Tyler Barron, edge from Miami, going to the Packers. I like him. Theo Weiss, former 5-star, just never really fired. I would not be surprised if he goes undrafted, but 6th round, I see him going late. Woody Marks is a tremendous value here, this part of the draft. He is a talent that should be a mid-round guy. Most drafts he would be. We're going to see running backs that are very talented go in the 6th and 7th round. We're going to see that happen. And he's probably not the name. There's going to be a name, though. That's what that tells me when I look at this. I'm not looking at this as what is what. I'm looking at this as how the market's going to be, what's going to be the economy of this draft, especially my vast knowledge at the wide receiver and running back position. I might know more about the running backs and wide receivers than him. That's the thing about this. Even though he's the full-time paid man here, it's just I'm really able to dial in on those positions a lot more than most people, while everybody has to look at the full draft. But I dial in on those positions because that's the game I play. Rutgers, cornerback, long beam. So I like his tape. I've been studying him up recently. I think he'll be a good late round money play guy. Jack Kaiser, linebacker, Notre Dame. Just saw that. I think he's going to go a little bit higher. I think he's being undervalued here. I think he probably even forgot he was on the board, and then he had to throw him in here. I think he's going to go higher. There's some guys I like to mock a little higher here than what he's got. I think he's thrown in some small schoolers, which makes sense. But like Hayden Connor, guard from Texas, maybe a little bit higher. Looking at some of that. Jay Higgins, linebacker from Iowa in the 7th round. Probably a shade higher. Looking at Jordan Hancock, cornerback from Ohio State. Jack Nelson, offensive tackle, Wisconsin. There's some good values here in the 7th round that won't be there in the regular draft that I'm seeing here. A lot of Power 4 schools, players from there that are going to get drafted a little higher. Donovan Edwards, running back from Michigan, 5-star running back out of high school, did not live up to that. But he could be a tremendous fit here with the Steelers. He can catch the ball in the backfield, be a good guy on the back end of the depth chart. Maybe he can work his way up. I could see him being a good Steeler running back over time. Daquan Felton going to the Raiders. That's just going to be good depth and competition in camp. Riley Leonard going to the 49ers. That could be our surprise quarterback. We're going to have a surprise quarterback in this draft that we're going to look at, and we're like, why didn't we talk about it? It's the reason why is this not a strong quarterback class, but honestly, you kind of got like good talent at the bottom level that needs to develop more. And you got a good pocket of that. You got like 5 quarterbacks. And one of them's going to do something. The odds are more immense for that compared to other classes. That's the thing. You got Brady Cook going to the Panthers. Long-term developmental upside. I just see them sticking with what they got. Nick Martin, linebacker, Oklahoma State. I value him higher than that, but good pick there for Seattle. It's 7th round, so it is what it is. I like LeQuint Allen. He's going to the Texans. Did they already draft the running back here? I like LeQuint Allen. He's one of my guys. I love him in the late rounds of drafts. Dynasty, I'm still getting him in the late rounds. He's one of my guys. I like him a lot. I feel like he's being slept on. Good burst between the tackles. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can be the guy for you, too. He's a good guy in a committee to have. Marcus Tate, guard Clemson, fell too far in the draft. Ricky White fell too far in the draft. I don't believe he's going to be a 7th rounder. Had a good 40 in the pro day, bad one at the combine. Honestly, one of the slickest route runners in this draft class. Good ball skills. It'd be a shame if you guys let him fall this far in the NFL. It'd be a shame. Because look at him versus Ty Felton. It's just totally different levels there. Look at him versus the other wide receiver. They're just totally different levels. Willie Lampkin going to the 7th round. Center, North Carolina. I don't see him falling that far. He's, slated to go to Cowboys, 49ers there. I don't see him falling that far. I see him going middle of the draft. The Kansas City Chiefs, wide receiver, Daniel Jackson. Like I said, not on the same caliber with Ricky White. That guy at Michigan State, back in that COVID season, blew up. Had that big game against Michigan. Transferred out to UNLV. It was productive. It's not like he can't compete at the Power 4 level. It's just he made a decision to do there so he can just ball out. Mullins going to the Chargers. Mullins going to the Chargers there. Just a late round filler. They're pretty good at running back, but that could be a guy that climbs the depth chart. Also, they got Kamani Vidal there. Looking at here, Cam Miller, North Dakota State quarterback. Developmental upside there to the Packers. Good backup for long term if he can develop for that. Justin Wally, quarterback Minnesota. Jacob Bayer, center Arkansas State. And we got some talent here that fell to the 7th round that really shouldn't have. I believe, when it comes to the depth of the class and what he's doing here, I think he mocked too much for fits in the beginning and not for, the position talent that fell and just going with the talent over team need because it fell to you, because I think more teams are going to do that than what you think in this year's draft. I think there's going to be a lot of trades. There's going to be a lot of trades in the first round. Once we get in the teens, and the back end of that 2nd round, right before the draft ends, we're going to see some trades come up. That is what that mock tells me, and that's what my mocks tell me when I play it like a video game and not trying to say, hey, this is what's going to happen. That's what that tells me. So when I play it like that, and then I look at that so I can get 2 different scenarios, I got a different viewpoint. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. One thing for watching. Catch you on the next video.